Alright, so when it comes down to Sindel, one thing that makes her really good is her range and her safety. Like, if you really break down her moves, this move right here, what? You're completely safe. No character can punish this other than Jade. And let's be real, Jade players are not punishing anything that's difficult, so it's pretty much safe. This move as well, sorry. That one, completely safe. Even her overhead, -8, a shit ton of pushback. Good luck, buddy, right? But one thing that I feel that a lot of people need to start taking advantage of is her cancels. She has cancels that will really throw your opponent off and makes her be in this freaking mind game of having to make your opponent guess with her range. And like, let me explain. So one thing you could do is you can go into her overhead and then cancel. It's really like right there. You're 0. You can go in for a grab. You could throw them off with a double overhead short hop. Yeah, that's the thing. If people are expecting that low, you can even cancel it off of the second string, right? And then you could do that if you want. But where she really, really shines is, let's say I'll do something like this, and then from right here I could backdash and go into that low starter. If you really break it down, -17, but you could space it out the best as possible. Like, let's say if your opponent will press at that moment, something like that, exactly just like that, -17. You could get punished, but it does leave a ton of space. Or you don't even need to play that, having to guess if your opponent is good at punishing you from long range. You could do something like this, and then they have to guess off of this string right here. You could play it however you want. You could even do another cancel off of this string and then go in for a grab. So you could do something like this. Sorry. Cancel. And then you could do it again and then go in for a grab, because they're not going to expect that. They're expecting that follow-up, and instead you can do a double cancel. You could do an overhead cancel, right? Boom. And then this cancel, and then go in for a grab, or do whatever it is fuck you want to do. So there's that. And also, doing it off of that second hit is also really good. Well, I like to keep it simple, to be honest. Going for a grab off of that hit right there. I don't think they're expecting it. So there's that. So off of her overhead, you have cancels that I think are definitely worth the bar, -0, and then it's really, really good. Not only that, but one thing that I feel like people need to start taking advantage of with Sindel, which I think is one of her most underrated buttons that she has, and that is her standing 2. Her standing 2, in my opinion, is very, very slept on. Staggering this is ridiculously good. The reason why, because they have to worry about that follow-up, right? They always have to worry about that follow-up. Not only that, but you can literally stagger this and to get your overhead game. This is my favorite way of setting up Sindel's overhead. So the way that I like to set up Sindel's overhead is I'll do it. Instead of backdashing and going into it, I don't do that. What I do is I'll backdash, step a little bit more back, and then go into it. That's what I do. The reason why I do that is because it's just not worth it. Sindel puts herself in harm's way, right? But if you just backdash and just step a little bit more back, Sindel is not in harm's way. So that's one thing I like to do. Boom, step back, and then go into it. Instead of doing this, and then she's like literally right there in front of RoboCop. You don't want that. So step back, and then it will be something like this. Backdash. Let me see. Boom. Backdash. Step a little bit more back, and then go into it. It's up to you on how back you really want to go. But once you get that backdash, you got to start spacing it, right? And that's with time. It just depends on how much time you want to put into Sindel. So you got to get that spacing going for it, and then boom, you have to land at the edge of her freaking whatever the fuck it is, her spear bullshit or whatever, right? That's what you want to do. Land it all the way at the end. If you're landing it like up here, you're not using this move correctly. You gotta do it from over here where Sindel is not in harm's way. So there's that. Another thing, you don't even have to do that. You can go into a low, or boom, you can go into a grab. That's another thing. Or you could also throw your opponent off by doing something like this, and then going for a grab, and then you could also do a double short hop, right? That's something I like to do. It's really, really good. So there's that. So definitely take advantage of her standing 1, and it gels off of this and this. So definitely take advantage of it. And there's that. And also with Sindel, she also has 2 buttons where you cannot wake up buttons on. And that is this one right here. I'll probably do this if I know that my opponent, if they have bars, right, like let's say they have 1 bar to roll, a defensive bar, this is what I'm probably going to throw out. But if they break out of any of my combos, you could actually, like, this is actually a magic string. They cannot wake up buttons on this one. If you space this one right off of that first hit, maybe if you don't time the first hit correctly, you can get poked out. But, like, for example, we're going to make RoboCop, we're going to make him mash, right? We're going to make him mash, wake up random on. We're going to make him, alright, let's make him not do that, right? Boom. My fault. See? Off of that second hit, my fault. I did not time it right. Again, did not time it right. See, right there, they did a delay wake up. Again, they're gonna get hit. Again, try waking up. So this is a tricky but real string that you could actually do. One way I like to set it up is off of this right here. It's just really, really good to do. And you're going to want to do a lot of short hops with Sindel. You have to take advantage of her short hops. If you're not, then there's something wrong with you. So this one, and this one's just much easier to time. Way, way easier to time. Like you saw right there, he even did the delay wake up. So she has 2 strings where your opponent cannot wake up buttons on. This one's a little trickier, but what I like to do, I like to space it out and then go in. So there's that. That's up to you to lab, you know, what situations to use which button. But for the most part, if my opponent breaks out of my combo, I'm going for this string right here and get my damage going and stuff like that. And if you have this move, the bitch has the touch of death. So there's that. So definitely take advantage of her spacing. She has ridiculously good spacing, and safety as well. So even doing like a standing 1 into this right here, or a standing 1 into going into that, or boom, boom, like you could do a lot of really cool things with Sindel. One thing to definitely avoid is being that Sindel player that is always using her overhead and always using her forward 4. Like, don't be the guy that does down 1 and go into the forward 4. There's no reason for that. If you're landing down 1, you got to go into her standing 2 or her standing 1, or you got to use that to space your opponent out. That's honestly how I feel where Sindel shines, when she has that mind game of when she's backpedaling and you don't know what she's going to do. And she can be really annoying. She could have this backpedaling mind game and be completely safe. Or if you want to play risk, it's up to you. I'm not judging. But that's what makes Sindel really annoying, is that her range and her safety. And you can make your opponent feel like it's really never their turn. And then just the variations you use, it is what it is. You know, you could play her to, you know, to her strength in that variation. But for the most part, you should definitely be using moves like this, taking advantage of her cancels, not off of just like her overhead, which it is the main way I use it, but off of this string as well. Like, you could cancel off of this string, because like I don't think this is a good stagger. Like, it's -7, right? But I feel like being able to do something like that, it just really throws your opponent out. Even though if it's like -6, that's completely fine. Off of that cancel, I could backdash and like do my forward 4. I can grab them, and like that's the scary part right there. Or I could bait my opponent for a poke and then grab them. And another thing I like to do with Sindel, like I said, it's gonna make your life much easier. When your opponent does a string and they finish their string and you know it's your turn to block, go for the double overhead. Go for the double overhead. It's just, she has 2 strings where she can like just demolish you on wake up. Not only that, but she can literally step all the way back and time her overhead. Like, definitely take advantage of knocking your opponent down. Like, what the fuck is RoboCop in this situation really gonna do? He's gonna have to roll. And then from right here, I'm like what is he really gonna do? Or any other character. And just going for it. So definitely take advantage of that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Holla back. Check you bastards later. Deuces.